Check this out, everybody. I just picked up this 1987 Honda CR500, and for the past few days, I've been researching everything about it. I've been trying to find out what's original on the bike and what isn't, because that's really going to determine the value of this bike. I mean, is this some sort of Frankenstein abomination, or is it the real deal? Is this an all-original 1987 Honda CR500? Well, let's take a look at the most important parts of the bike and see if we could figure this out. In my opinion, the frame is the most important part of the bike. On the head tube, you'll find a metal number plate indicating the year and model of the bike. So far, so good. This plate indicates that this is a 1987 Honda CR500. Unfortunately, though, copycat plates are available, and it's not hard to stick a copycat plate on a different frame. So we'll need to turn our attention to the other side of the head tube and check out the VIN number, if it has one. If there is no VIN number, that means that the frame is an OEM replacement. If that were the case, the value of the bike would be severely impacted. But it looks like I'm in luck. The VIN is stamped into the head tube as it should, and the number is correct for a 1987 Honda CR500. If you want help understanding your CR500 VIN number, check out my video titled Decoding Your Honda CR500 VIN. The next most important part is the engine, specifically the crankcase. Honda attached a number plate to their crankcases, and this number plate can be used to determine the year of the case. If this is an original 1987 crankcase, the code number should be between the number shown on the screen. The number reads 5601352, so it's more good news. Now, of course, it was quite common for people to replace engine components like pistons, crankshafts, clutches, cylinders, and cylinder heads. Personally, I don't feel this impacts the value as long as the replacement parts are correct for the year. Additionally, there were a few mistake parts that Honda used during some years of production. In my opinion, these parts should be replaced with an upgraded part from another year to maintain the integrity of the bike, but more on that in a few. Honda made some major changes to the cylinder in 1989. The 85 to 88 versions had the water outlet on the back, but this was moved to the side in 89. Additionally, the 85 to 88 cylinders had a reed cage flange that was 8 mm thicker and a stud boss here, at this location, that was 4 mm shorter. This cylinder is correct for 1987. It has the water outlet on the back, the thicker reed cage flange, and the lower stud boss. The cylinder head for 87 should be part number 12200-ML3-780. There should be an ML3 stamped on the top of the head. If it's ML3N or ML3R, then that means it's been replaced with a head from a later model. I could see and feel the ML3 on top of this head. Now, I can't verify this 100% because Honda also used the ML3 code for their 88 head. But since it's an ML3, there is a pretty good chance that it's an 87 original. Now there's something going on down here with the right crankcase cover, which is painted silver, and I think I know what it is. In 1987 and 88, Honda made the notorious mistake of making these cases out of magnesium. In just a few short years, these cases corroded badly. Although it's nice to keep things as original as possible, this is one of those mistake parts that really needs to be upgraded to one of the newer aluminum parts from 1990 or later, and that's what this is here. The 1990 Plus cases are also a little wider to accommodate the wider clutch basket and clutch with 2 additional friction plates that Honda used through the later years. These are easier to find and replace than the earlier clutch setups. Now sometimes people would paint this crankcase cover after upgrading it so that it would match the rest of the black engine, but you could still identify what you have by looking at the water outlets. The water outlets run parallel on the 1990 Plus parts, whereas they angle away from each other on the earlier magnesium covers. On a side note, the 1989 case also has parallel water ports and is also made of aluminum, but it's narrower than the 1990 parts. In 1987, Honda reshaped the gas tank and seat, but continued to mold their plastics in flame red, which is more of a red-orange color than the fighting red color adopted in '88. Compared to '86, the '87 gas tank is less rounded at the top, and the seat comes up higher on the tank. These pictures help illustrate the differences. The tank and seat on my bike appear to be correct for an '87. The decal, with its all-white 500 numbering, is also correct. The number plate backgrounds were painted yellow from the factory. These side number plates are originals and have the Honda part numbers molded into the backside. The shrouds on my bike are OEM replacements. I'm not sure if you could see it, but the Honda part numbers are stamped on the backside, but there's also this list here of dates, which is an indication that this shroud is an OEM replacement, not an original. I cannot find any part numbers or clues on the front number plate, but it appears to be an original. The front and rear fender are not original. Here on the rear fender I could see UFO. UFO is the company that makes replacement plastic pieces for dirt bikes. On the front fender I could see Made in Italy, which is where UFO plastics are made. The front and rear fender are UFO replacements. It's pretty easy to determine that these radiators are not original. The shape, the welds, and the finish indicate something that was produced recently. Plus there's the sticker indicating these radiators are made by GPI. In '87, Honda started using the adjustable block chain tensioner on the swing arm, which is what we see here. Also, the '87 to '88 swing arms tapered towards the axle bolt. In 1989 and up, the swing arm was more rectangular in shape. This appears to be an original '87 swing arm. In 1986 and '87, Honda used gold anodized wheels manufactured by DID. Here we see that information stamped on the wheel. Although I can't be certain whether these are '86 or '87 wheels, they are likely '87 originals. In 1987, Honda used the key in Carb, part number JH2PE020. This carb appears to be correct, although I cannot see a part number on the outside to verify this. Between '85 and '88, Honda used conventional forks, which is what these are. In '89, Honda switched to the upside-down fork configuration. The correct part number for '87 is ML3-772, which leads us to a mystery. I found these badges indicating part number ML3-771. This sticker is on both forks. I cannot find any forks with this part number, and I looked up and down the years in all of the OEM manuals. Perhaps this part was used for just part of 1987 and then was replaced with the 772 part. I don't really know. I'm not sure what the story is with these handlebars. I could tell they've been repainted, and the paint definitely does not match the rest of the bike. From the factory, the bars were painted black. I really cannot tell if these are the original bars underneath the paint. They do have a welded crossbar like the bars from the factory, but I have no way of knowing if this is the correct bend. This will have to be an unsolved mystery for now until I could get some specifications on the stock handlebars. Now these foot pegs are original. Honda used these little dinky foot pegs in 1987 and '88 and probably several other years. Finding an old CR500 with original exhaust that is not all dented up is really something special. But this is not the original exhaust. This is a Pro Circuit expansion chamber that has been painted in a Pro Circuit silencer. Now there are numerous other parts we could look into, such as sprockets, brakes, brake cables, levers, and so forth. But perhaps I'll address those smaller pieces in another video. The purpose here was to investigate the big money parts. It seems my '87 CR500 is not completely original, but considering what I paid, I'm very happy with what I've discovered. If you found this video helpful, please like it, and take the time to comment if you have something helpful to offer the CR500 community. Check out my other dirt bike videos here on Go Hobby. Thanks for watching, everyone.